Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and I'm the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. This video is basically sort of a roundup of information that's recently come to light regarding Thai visas and immigration matters. None of these topics on their own really warranted a video of their own, so I figured I'd just sort of throw it all together on here and just quickly discuss it in this sort of blurb. The first notable piece of news that just came out within the past couple of weeks is the recent change to Thai immigration regulations, which now allows an additional 37 countries, so passport holders from an additional 37 countries can now obtain a 30-day visa exemption stamp at a land border in Thailand. So what we're talking about here is there were obviously there were these 37 countries whose passport holders, whose nationals, when entering Thailand through a land border, they did not receive a 30-day stamp, and generally they received a 15-day stamp. For anyone who's ever dealt with Thai immigration, when doing things like a visa conversion from just an exemption stamp over into a visa proper, people who've ever dealt with it will know that a 15-day stamp can be quite irritating because one cannot convert a 15-day stamp up into a higher visa category. One can only do that if they've got 21 days left of validity in their status here in Thailand. So to an extent, this was kind of a liberalization, as it were, of the current visa regulations by allowing these additional 37 countries' nationals to get a 30-day stamp at the land border. It should be noted that this comes hot on the heels of the news, and it's relayed in another one of the videos on this channel, but it comes hot on the heels of the news that as of now, as of January 1, 2017, there is no longer a regime in place which will allow people to do more than 2 border runs per year, quote-unquote border runs. That's going over the border and getting a 30-day exemption stamp. From this point forward, it is no longer possible to do that more than twice in a year. And to be clear, it's my understanding, and we've yet to see this fully implemented, but it's my understanding that's from any border. That's airport or land border. Again, I've had some clients who have been up at the borders, and they have anecdotally sort of explained what happened with them. The folks that they talked to up there said, we don't know exactly how this is going to play out at the airports, but for now, that is definitely the rule at the land borders. How that plays out at the airports, or presumably even, I guess, water ports, port borders, we've yet to see how this is going to play out. But it looks to me, at least, like they're fairly serious about this, and I think it's pretty safe to assume that from here on out, you're not going to be able to do more than 2 30-day exemption stamp border runs at a given time. Keeping in mind, there's a new blacklisting regime, and there's a whole video on this channel about blacklisting. So for those who are thinking, oh, I'll just overstay rather than mess around with these border runs because I can't do one anymore. If you overstay by more than 90 days now, you are automatically going to be put on the immigration blacklist pursuant to the good guys in, bad guys out policy. So bear that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind, sort of point 2 in this, is the developing situation with respect to the so-called multiple entry tourist visa. In the past, there were single entry tourist visas which granted 60 days of validity, and that 60 days of validity could be extended by 30 days here in Thailand for a fee paid at a local immigration office. Those are being, it looks to me like they're being phased out in favor of a single multiple entry tourist visa scheme, although it's my understanding the single entry visas are still in effect, so you can still get the old 60-day ones. In the past, there were various honorary consulates and consulates around the world, Thai consulates around the world, that would even issue 3 single entry tourist visas at a time. I don't know if that is still in practice. I'm presuming not, because I believe that this 6-month multi-entry tourist visa scheme was sort of designed to effectively eliminate that. So this new tourist visa, it's issued with it's a 6-month validity. It's multi-entry. So I believe one has to leave every 60 days, run across a border and come back in, or apply for an extension here in Thailand. I haven't seen it fully implemented yet, but just bear in mind that seems to be what it's being moved toward, is this 6-month multi-entry tourist visa. Another point to bring up, recent developments regarding Thai immigration and Thai visas. The most notable one is the changes in the attitude toward the multiple entry visa. In the past, one could get a 1-year Thai visa that was called a multi-entry visa. And basically, it was valid for a 365-day period. Every time an individual came into Thailand on that kind of visa, they had 90 days of lawful status. So it did require, quote-unquote, border running. But the border runs, it was a multi-entry, it was a non-immigrant visa category. So there wasn't a lot of scrutiny along the borders as to what one was doing doing a border run with that kind of visa. Thus far, it's been my experience. I know that in the United Kingdom, it is no longer possible to get any of these visas, to get a 1-year multi-entry through an honorary consulate. I also know that last year, policy changes came down, and honorary consulates no longer issue multi-entry visas in the United States. After some brief contact with some of the Royal Thai consulates in the United States regarding the multi-entry visas, my understanding that now multi-entry visas will now no longer be issued in the U.S. practically at all. It's my understanding that's effectively been phased out in the United States. So there are limited, narrow sets of circumstances at certain posts out here in this region in Southeast Asia, places like Laos, Myanmar, not so much Myanmar, Malaysia, Singapore. There are certain posts out here that will go ahead and issue a multi-entry visa, notably a business visa, but there is a narrow set of circumstances under which that will happen. And it's going to be very case specific, but it can. There are good reasons for the multi-entry, especially for those who work in Thailand but work elsewhere in the region. The multi-entry is a really nice visa option because it doesn't require an extension and it doesn't require a re-entry permit. It's all sort of built into that. And if one is not here for a prolonged period of time here in Thailand for longer than 90 days at a stretch anyway, then the multi-entry is a nice visa to have. But slowly but surely, I've noticed that the sort of, for lack of a better term, the easy issuance of multi-entry visas has come to an end. The general tone or the general message to be taken away from this entire video is the immigration system in Thailand, the policies, procedures, regulations, and most importantly, the enforcement of all of the above is tightening. It's becoming more strict. So as in a general sense, staying in Thailand for long periods of time on visas that are ostensibly issued for temporary purposes, that's really not going to be possible moving forward, or not possible in any prolonged sense of time. Again, the multi-entry tourist visa is now an option. There's 6 months of lawful status here in Thailand with that. There are certain limited situations where a multi-entry non-immigrant visa may be issued, but for the most part, it's looking more and more like extensions are going to be the norm, and sort of dealing with that whole process is really more the norm. And definitely the border run is a thing of the past. So trying to stay here on exemption stamps is just basically no-go. And again, it looks to me like they're pretty well phasing out the old tourist visa scheme, and they're bringing in this 6-month multi-entry tourist visa scheme. How this is all going to play out remains to be seen. I'll keep you updated through this channel. But again, all these points, the overall message is, and I don't mean to sound pessimistic, it's getting harder to stay long-term in Thailand if you don't have a specific reason to be here or you don't have a job. Utilizing temporary status to stay here long-term is really being phased out.